Well, guys, welcome back to the Off the Rip podcast. We've been gone for a month, but we thank you for being here. I'm your co-host, Bailey Berry.
I'm your co-host, Tucker Hall.
And we have a very special guest here with us today. One of my best friends, alongside of my other best friend, Mr. Cristian Chavez. It's been a long time coming. Glad to have you here. Cristian is an engineer. He went to the University of Tennessee. And he has a job.
That's why I put that helmet over there.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it over there.
I like that. Yeah. Cristian found a job a couple months ago. Just kidding. No, he's good. I'll let him talk for himself. He didn't just find a job, but we're just chilling. Mm-hmm. You already know what's up. Cristian, glad to have you here, dude.
Glad to be here.
And then now we're just getting the dust off.
Yeah.
It's been a month since we
Yeah, we're definitely going to be rusty on this shit. Life's been happening and everything else, but we both kind of had the conversation just like we need to get back into it, need to be consistent again, and keep pumping out episodes because, this is fun. We enjoy doing this, and we enjoy, having our friends on here, chopping it up, introducing our friends to you guys, and everything like that. But we just, we're getting back into it. Welcome, Cristian.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we do want to have more guests on. So it's like, hit us up. If we haven't had somebody on the podcast yet, if you know us well, let us know, dude. We want you on the pod. We want to grow in our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You agree?
For sure.
Yeah.
But speaking on what you were talking about a minute ago with Cristian being an engineer and everything like that, that's a very commendable degree. That's hard as shit.
Oh, 100%.
Engineering's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful, and it's it takes a lot of discipline and willpower to get through that degree. Just from the people that I know that are engineers that have gone through it.
Same.
What is the word I guess I'm looking for? Concentration. Or I guess what is your degree? What kind of engineering?
So when I graduated, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I just started looking at jobs and what I could do. And I've worked in 2 different sectors now. So I started out in consulting. So I designed power distribution systems for commercial and residential places. So we live in the Bible Belt here. There's a lot of churches.
For sure.
And they have lots of money. Somehow, always.
That's true.
So a lot of jobs were stuff like that. I would do brand new buildings. I would do retrofits or whatever. I guess where you take something that's outdated and you remodel it. Those jobs are a little more complicated, but then I also did office spaces. That's more the commercial side, restaurants, things like that. Pretty much anything you can think of, homes. And then after that, I jumped into carbon capture technology. I guess it's a little bit confusing on whether it is carbon capture or not, because we're not necessarily going out and capturing carbon dioxide or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're taking carbon dioxide that's already been stored, and we run it through a reactor, and basically we end up splitting carbon dioxide into oxygen, so we're making more for the atmosphere, and storing the carbon nanotubes. It's kind of like if you think of carbon fiber.
Yeah.
How it's really strong. Well, carbon nanotubes also have really good qualities like carbon fiber would. But so we grow that, and it's used for a variety of things. It can be used for tires, building materials, bulletproof vests, things like that. You can really just use that into a lot of things. Batteries, that's something we're working on right now.
And that's with SkyNano, right?
Yes, that's with SkyNano Technologies. And currently I'm the only electrical engineer there, so most recently I finished a project where I did all of the electrical distribution. And it's been a pretty big learning experience. I feel like I've added a lot to my arsenal on what I know, because now I know power distribution in the commercial and residential with my first job, and then this one was more so industrial. So
yeah,
sure, man.
Industrial
Crazy
is
stuff. Crazy stuff.
The more sectors of business you can get into, because I'm a business degree, so in the industrial sector, we're doing industrial sales. I work a lot with engineers. The company I work for is engineering backed. That's who founded our company. Yeah. It was crazy that our business worlds collided.
That's cool.
that.
Yeah, I was so shocked when you told me. I told you where I worked, and you were just like, I got an email.
Dude, we were having that conversation on the way to Colorado, and then we're sitting there Friday morning, and I'm like, bro, I just got a quote request from SkyNano.
And
you're out here doing work together. Didn't you have to meet up with him one day to get something?
Yeah, we all went to the bar that night.
Yeah.
Well, I wish that whole situation went better, but
It was cool though. I was at work in my meeting and I was like, oh, I can just hit Tucker up. I'm going to Kingsport later. I can just meet him up. I'm already gonna hang out with him.
Yeah,
and
he gave us the wrong gaskets. I gave him the right gaskets and everything else. So
and the CEO was like, oh yeah, great, do that. Yeah,
that's cool.
Actually,
that's what we did.
What was her name?
Anna Douglas.
Yeah, Anna Douglas. Yeah, when she called me and she said, "Hi, my name's Anna Douglas. I'm the CEO of SkyNano." I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
I was sitting in my chair and I was like, "VSP is Tucker." Hey Anna, how you doing today?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, she said CEO and like
that's exactly
got a lump in my throat. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Because at that point, like that whole situation, it's a long story, but like we knew what they needed, they knew what they needed, and we were working very well together. But we didn't manufacture that product. We had to source it. The people that sourced it, that made it, screwed up. I hate that company. That company is very, very shitty. Yeah. They don't respond. When they mess something up, they don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't care to get it fixed fast, even though we're sitting here like, we need this quick.
Yeah.
But anyway, that whole situation was messed up. But it was really cool, like, at that time when she called me, being like, yeah, I'm working on this. I'm trying to get it figured out and blah, blah, blah. I just hated the first time I talked to the CEO of this company is me being like, I'm gonna fix our fuck up. Like I would rather it be. I was.
We were in Denver.
And I really wanted to be like, how did that work? Did it work great for you? That's awesome. Hopefully we can get more business. I wish that was a conversation being had.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. But
a follow up, not a fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, to piggyback off of that, we were already really struggling to find that part, and nobody was willing to make it because it was the distance between the gaskets and the material we wanted it made out of was just. People didn't want to even try to make it.
Yeah.
So then you guys helped us out a lot with that.
Luckily with our company, like I said, it was engineering backed. So like everything we do is like it's in our slogan is engineered sealing solutions. It's not just where we can get you this and it might work, it might not. You tell us what you want, we'll get it for you. It's more like, okay, let's look at your situation and put your engineers and our engineers together in a room and figure out the best solution. Because like you guys know your business and your technology the best. So do we when it comes to sealing products. So like trust us to understand what you need to seal and like how you need to seal it, all the parameters and outside factors that go into that. And then you guys tell us, all the stuff that's going on in your process and we work together. So that's what I really like about my company is like, it's not just a bullshit sales job. It's actually like helping people figure out solutions, which adds so much more value and actually gives me more meaning to my work than just being like cold calling people trying to make some sales. Which can get very repetitive and you burn out very quick.
100%.
But being in the industrial sectors, that's what I like about it so much. It's like there's so much cool technology. Like SkyNano, when I started reading about SkyNano, I was like, that's crazy. That's dope.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like that's some high level shit.
I know. Whenever you started working there and you were explaining me what they do, I'm like, dude, this sounds like some comic book stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
for
they're
real.
capturing stuff from the atmosphere, you know what I mean, from the air, and I'm like, dude, this is insane.
And breaking molecules apart to reuse different situations.
To add to what you're saying too, you played a part in a product that nobody else in the whole world is making. Because insane. This isn't like
in Tennessee.
For carbon capture, it's like everybody talks about it and it's like a huge attention thing, but for people to do it at a large scale to where it's actually impacting the environment and stuff in a positive way, it takes a lot, and we're not nearly there yet, like at all. So like just for an analogy for everybody and for you all to consider, what's one of the biggest industries in the world when you guys think of that? What's one of like the biggest things that have been around forever? Everybody uses it.
Like coal.
Oil.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Okay,
so what do? We drill into the earth and there's a finite amount. I mean, surely there's been stuff coming out recently that there's actually like so much and we'd be fine for like centuries. Yeah. And we don't even tap into our American oil like in Alaska.
Yeah. It's still finite though.
Right. It's still finite.
It's still a non-renewable resource.
Right. And so we add so much carbon to the environment every year from so many things.
Yeah.
Driving cars, all like emissions. There's just so many emissions. Factories. Cows. I mean, and it's not just I think it's mainly methane from cows, but
probably, yeah.
But so think of all the carbon that's just built up and we're not able to capture it all. The day that somebody actually is able to scale up to a point, they're like, who's going to say, pay for that carbon, Like, who owns that carbon?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, people are going to, like, companies are going to be like, oh, we're trying to be more climate friendly. Please come over here and take our CO2 that we have, produced. Because like power plants like TVA, that's someone we're working with right now. They give us their gas right now. To do that. And so the reason nobody else can do this in the world right now is because the CEO where I work, her and some colleagues, I think, mainly she's like the CEO, of course, but I don't know who else on the patent, but that's public information. You guys could find it if you really wanted to. Their system is something that they got a patent on, and only they are allowed to do and make money off of it. So I guess somebody could do it, but they can't make money off of it.
Proprietary process.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And they own the rights to that, and since I've been there, we've been able to scale up ×4, and our next scale up will be ×10 from that scale up.
Yeah, that's
so it's kind of starting. It's kind of starting to show like an exponential growth.
Right, and the amount of just untapped potential that's there is pretty crazy. So this is somewhere that if I like stuck around for like a long time, maybe it's not going to be like, oh, next year all of a sudden this is the next big thing. It's something that's going to have to be slowly built up. But that's like just something people aren't thinking about right now. Like cable died and everybody's on streaming services. That's something you could have seen coming when we were still in high school. So it's been 10 years almost. Not really. It's been like.
It's been in that time span.
7 years?
Yeah.
8 years? We're building on 8 years?
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that could actually take off and
for sure.
Really change the world.
And not only that, but like it's such a smart idea once you figure out that process to patent that process. Because once you patent that process, you protect. I think a patent lasts for what, 5, 10 years?
That's what I was going to ask you. It varies.
It does vary. Like,
but you can renew them, I think, too.
Yeah, you can. So like that's what VSP does as well with their with a lot of our products. Like, we can sell you, said sheet or metal gasket, but we also have engineered products that we have patents on, like our Oprah gaskets or our PETA gaskets or whatever. Like, those are all patented, so they're proprietary to VSP, so nobody else can manufacture them. And once a patent runs out, like, obviously people can start manufacturing, but people can make knockoffs, but they don't work as well because we have a process to how these are made, and the engineering solution behind it has a patent, so nobody can touch it. And once you get people in on proprietary products, like, who are they going to buy it from? There's nobody else.
That's true. That's very true.
That's probably why that company you said you don't like to work with, they're really slow. They don't try to like fix their problems.
So
because people need them.
So Garlock did the same thing we did. The only problem, I kind of doxed them there. Anyway, that company, they've grown to the point to where, like, they started the same way we did, just a little mom and pop shop, they just got into a business, a niche market that needed help, and they just build it up. So like now they're to the point to where they don't even mess with end users. The only thing they do is they set up like vendors. So people like us or like other shilling companies go to them to buy these products and take it to the end user. So they don't even deal with the end user anymore. They just middleman stuff.
I see a lot of that.
They're so big that they can do that. But that comes at a cost because they're so big that they don't care about the end user. The only thing they care about is making that money with their vendors. So it's one of those situations where it's like you can kind of get too big for your britches. And that's one thing that I like about VSP is, like, no matter how big we've gotten, like we've seen huge growth since I've been with the company. Almost double what we started at.
That's awesome.
And I've only been there for 2 years. But the bigger and bigger we get, there's still a focus on the end user and the customer. Like, that's like, if you go away from that, then you're just kind of like selling your soul and
you
just for the profit. You gotta stick around and look out for the end user, no matter how big you
Healthy
get.
growth.
Healthy growth. You
don't want to. That's stretch yourself thin.
That's our blood. That's the blood that runs through our veins of our company. Is our customers and their satisfaction. Like if that goes away, then we're just kind of stuck in a position like that other company is, where like we're just dealing with vendors now and pumping out a whole bunch of stuff. But
no, it's crazy. I mean, I'm my job. I am a glorified middleman, but I do, as you do too, deal mainly. Well, we deal a lot with the end user. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like
you're a face.
I'm the last.
The end.
Exactly.
You're a face to the end user. Which technically I am too, being in sales. But like, I mean, I came from Fastenal with
Yeah,
you
yeah,
too. Like
yeah.
it was just the sector of business I found myself in.
Yeah.
And it was good money. I understand it. And everything like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. Mine and yours business world collided too, last week.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was up at a customer in Narrows, Virginia, and I was driving out of there, and like one of our senior business guys, he called me and he's like, "Hey, do you think you can get a contact at the corporate office at Fastenal?" I was like, "I'm sure I could."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And he was like, "We need to set up. We're trying to set up like this contract with them. Blah blah. Like, go ahead and spearhead that." And I was like, you know, in my mind is like that's easier said than done, but at the same time I was kind of nervous. I was like, damn, that's a big ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, spearhead a contract negotiation.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't make that much money.
Yeah.
You know, I've been here 2 years.
Yeah, I know. Like, and Fastenal being a company that literally has a freaking tick mark. Like, they're a publicly traded company, which is insane. But we still got you that number.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and plus, like, I got him that number, and then I ended up calling Grant and had like a 15-20 minute conversation with Grant.
Okay.
And the biggest thing was just getting them in contact.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got everybody in contact with the right people and like all that was settled and I can let the big dogs handle that stuff.
Yeah.
Then I was like, you know, I got a text and a phone call being like, "Hey, really appreciate that. That's
cool.
That's dope, blah,
Sweet.
blah. Like, you know, we really appreciate you doing that and everything." So it's like, okay, I made it.
Yeah.
We're good now.
Cool. I'm glad that worked out.
But I think it is cool. Like, you know, we're all such good friends. We work in like different areas of business, same sort of sector, I guess, industrial. Yeah. But it's always cool when like your business world collide because it's like we out here doing this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we out here making moves.
Yeah,
it's
cool. We're in a different city too.
Yeah.
It's just like we were going on a trip together, and that impacted what was going on with our companies because that's the only reason there was issues because you were gone or something and somebody else took over and there was some miscommunication or something like that.
Yeah, we
went to Denver together.
It was crazy too because we're in Denver and we're talking about it. Obviously, it's like I work for VSP and he works for SkyNano and like we're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake up Friday morning and I'm looking at my email and I'm like, no fucking way.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is insane.
All this was in the works behind the scenes, and all of a sudden we're just like, well, Christian, when we get home, we're getting into a shit show.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, that's so crazy. That's cool shit though.
Yeah, it does make you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes you feel like an adult a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I still feel like a kid.
I do too,
yeah,
but when
I do too. Yeah.
I do too, but when shit like that happens, it does make you feel like just like
I'm grown up.
I know.
just like tighten that tie up, boy. You little corporate guys.
I know. It's just like when you called me the other day. I'm like, "Oh, Tucker's calling me. What's up, homie?" And then he's like, "Hey, I need this," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Breezy, we need to find the corporate business manager's phone number to give to Tuck." It was really cool. And
I was really expecting Breezy to. Well, he did do that. Like whenever he answered the phone, he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, I know.
I was like, Breezy, this is not the time. I need to be business.
I was just about to ask if he was like, what does he want that for?
Yeah, I know. What's so funny though is like Breezy makes so much money. It's crazy how much money he makes.
Yeah.
Doing what he does with being who he is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's hilarious.
I mean, dude, Breezy's the definition of work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He is.
Like he does work very hard and, gets his shit done. He's very effective at his job and he knows how to do his job very well.
Yeah.
But he can also be the funniest motherfucker, shoot the shit, dick around, not care to do anything.
Yeah, I've met him once before.
He's a fun time. But
he's a great time.
I like him.
He is also a very in the sense of work ethic and getting shit done, a role model in that sense.
He really is.
Yeah,
he really is.
Because he's a dope dude. He's a good dude.
He's a really good dude, and I love him.
Breezy,
I love the relationship.
Breezy, if you're watching this, fuck you.
Oh, dude!
Everything I just said, don't let your head blow up.
Oh my god, dude! So we got in a part the other day. Okay, we ordered in the span of 1 week, we ordered over $1,000 from this one vendor, just a vendor that sells small stuff. So they sent a free knife, like a Smith & Wesson utility knife. They sent a free knife, and Breezy was back there while we were unboxing it and receiving it in to ship it out. And he took the free knife. He took the knife, even though it wasn't his, he took the knife. And I was like, hey. And then I tried to play it off. I was like, hey, that was actually for an order, even though it was just free, because I was going to take the knife. You know what I mean? So I went up front. I typed up the receiving sheet, like the sheet, and I was like, "This is part number blah 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 S&W because it's Smith and Wesson." I was like S&W 4017. I was like, "Hey, this is on here." I was like, "I need that back." So he gives me back the box, okay, and it's heavy. So I'm like, okay. I was like, this dude fell for it. And this was like Monday of this week, okay. Me and Hannah were at the apartment last night. We were about to go to La Coretta, and I was like, look at this knife I got from work. I was like, I'm gonna give it to my dad for Christmas. And I like opened the box, took it out, and it's like a 3-inch long, like 1.25-inch bolt in there. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, Hannah, grab my phone right now. And I just sent this video to Breezy. I'm like, Breezy, fuck you. Are you serious right now? I was like, what if this actually was for an order? I was like, this should be my knife. Fuck you. This is gay.
What did he say?
That is hilarious, dude.
He immediately called me and was like, Baylor? He was like, I noticed you texted me. He was like, I didn't look at the text yet. I was just wanted to see what you're calling about. But he was full of shit. He knew I called him. And then, I mean, we just had a conversation. He was dying laughing.
Hilarious, dude.
It was amazing. Like I was mad, and he was like, I was hoping you were gonna give that to someone for Christmas. I was like, I was until Hannah wanted to see it.
Your dad opens it and there's just a big ass
bolt
in there.
You know what I mean? That's like worth $1.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Have this bolt.
He played it off very well. But
That is hilarious.
We died laughing over the phone.
Oh my god.
It was really good. It was really good. Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
Well, thanks, Breezy. I had to give you credit somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here you go.
Going back to something that Christian said a minute ago, talking about what his company does with carbon and taking it out of the atmosphere. So I'm going to take this podcast in a very conspiracy theory route real quick.
Yeah, we've already been there a little bit.
And we're going to really touch on this. So there is a conspiracy theory that carbon being in the atmosphere in higher amounts is actually not a bad thing. And they say that because obviously, if you think about carbon dioxide and oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants take in carbon dioxide, convert it to oxygen, put the oxygen back out, we breathe the oxygen, and then there's just a cycle. Mm-hmm. So they think that higher amounts of carbon dioxide in the air actually generates a more lush and fertile planet because there's more availability for plants to... You know, it's kind of like evolution. Like, if there's more of a... Or maybe not even evolution, or just like conservation almost. Like if you put more deer in a place, mm-hmm. you're gonna have an increase in predators,
of course,
in population.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
To the point to where if the predators will grow to the point to where they reach a point to where they're eating all their prey, then they'll die off, then the prey come back up. It's that type of thing. Yeah. So if there's more carbon dioxide in the air, and the plants, it's more available for the plants will boom to make up for that account and take in more carbon dioxide, thus putting more oxygen in the air, making it a greener planet.
I see what you're saying.
So there's like a conspiracy there, which it makes sense, but I don't know.
It sounds good, but oftentimes with things like that, I feel like you can go in and back it up with research, and I think that it's what you're saying is true, but it's the amount that we're putting out. Like it's... You know, everything's good in moderation, that type of thing. Like, I feel like there might just not be a need for that. Because, I mean, greenhouse gases heat the world up, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just carbon dioxide. Some of the worst things are not that. But
yeah,
I would say that maybe that there could be some truth to that. And, like, yeah, carbon dioxide is exchanged with oxygen back and forth. But I don't know if the amount of things we're producing that carbon dioxide with are that, like, I don't know. I think it could still be bad for sure.
Yeah.
Carbon levels in general just don't need to be that high.
Yeah. So maybe, like, it's okay to put some back in.
Or to be producing some.
Or to
we should just be reducing to not be putting as much. As
like you say, everything in moderation. So, like, there could be a happy medium of where, like, we're being carbon conscious, I guess, of doing stuff like your company does, of, like, utilizing the carbon in the air, but also allowing some for the availability to keep a greener planet, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, another really interesting thing to think about on that topic is is that when you actually look at the amount of carbon each country produces, and you look at all the countries that are developed and have relatively good numbers, it's like the main top countries in the world that are like, you know, performing really well don't even account for like 25% of the world's like pollution and stuff. It's like I can't remember exactly which country it is. I bet you guys didn't know this. There's a country that literally takes tires from all over the world, and it's been on fire for 20 years.
Are you serious?
Burning tires.
They're just burning tires, and it never stops. If you go on Google Earth and you go over this area, you can see the big patch of just black smoke.
No way.
Well,
I don't remember which country it is.
It's got to be like a third world country.
You'd think
but
so,
that's I 100% understand and agree with that, because developed countries and nations, the reason that they get that big, they have more regulation, more government outreach, and
they're making more efforts.
They're making more efforts. There's more control over that type of stuff. Like in a third world country, like your governing body more or less doesn't mean shit.
Right. People just do what they want.
Yeah, in a lot of third world countries, it's either militia ran or...
They're not thinking about all that.
Yeah, there's a government, but the government's kind of like, hey, don't do that. And they're like, fuck you, we're going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like one of those situations. So they have way less regulations on them to just be able to like, okay, do we really have to go through all these loops and funnel all this money we don't have into doing it the correct way, or do we make as much money as possible by doing it the incorrect way?
I really want to know which country it is that's doing it, and then you guys can look it up later, because it's crazy.
I feel like it's probably in Africa or India.
No, I was gonna say Africa. It's somewhere in Asia.
Asia,
yeah,
bro. And that is another thing though. Is like I think when it comes to developed nations, China is one of the worst.
Oh yeah,
because
China makes a lot.
They don't care.
Kuwait, it's in Kuwait.
Oh, the burn pits in the Middle East. Have you seen that?
In India or Asia?
Look at this.
Kuwait's in the Middle East.
And you know whose tires are out there?
America's.
Ours too.
Yeah.
Because we can just get rid of them easily by giving them to them, and they don't care. So we're not directly, doing anything wrong. There's laws that say we can't, do certain things. So we're like, we'll just ship it to this country and let them deal with it.
Yeah, because it's like we don't know what they're doing with their tires. Wink. You know?
If you look at like satellite images, you can see this from space.
Oh yeah, no, it's like the Staten Island landfill.
So if you think about that, huge. Oh, well, and another thing, you, me, and Tucker are not producing like even a grain of sand of pollution compared to the top 1%. You know how much a private jet will burn?
Oh yeah.
Like 1 hour of flying a jet is already accounting for more than like 10 times what you're going to produce in a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And that's insane.
That's what I hate when celebrities and like, or A-list celebrities and all these people like come out and give their opinion on like, we need to be better for the planet. And I was like, then fly commercial.
Now let me hop in my jet and attend this meeting about.
They'll go to attend that meeting, say all this stuff, and tell the common people you need to do this, you need to give up that, you need to go electric, all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Then hop on a private jet and put out more carbon than one single person can put out in 10 years.
Yeah.
With them driving their car and breathing and doing all this stuff, like they will never amount to what they just did in like 3 hours. Yeah,
so like me, I used to like always make sure to try to recycle and all that stuff, because
city of Knoxville,
city of Knoxville didn't. I think you had to pay extra, and we just didn't want to for them to come pick it up. Yeah. So I would actually store things, put them in my car, drive by to the UT recycling center, and I would just dump things off. And I don't do that anymore, really, but I also don't really buy that many things that are just producing all that, cardboard and stuff. And I repurpose a lot. Yeah. So like right now, Christmas time, you have boxes laying around, you're going to use them for presents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I started just realizing that our impact, it would take everybody really to do everything at once than just us. Exactly. And it doesn't matter how many people we tell, it's still not going to make up what all these top 1% people are doing. And I don't have communication with these people. But really, if we want to make a change, it's going to have to start with either the common people making it a big enough problem, or the people at the top finally deciding, we should stop.
100%.
Or we should change.
Well, and that's the scary thing too, is like, I feel like those people are so out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have these problems. They don't see these problems. The only thing they're really caring about is like, okay, how do I make more money? Yeah. How do I make my standard of living that much better.
Yes,
Or
I
even
agree.
just maintaining it.
What?
Or just or maintaining this, like, because if they quit doing their private jets, if they quit producing all this carbon or this waste and like all this stuff, like, what is that going to do to their bottom dollar? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to drop out, and they're not going to be able to live the same life that they're living. And it's like, I get it in that sense, because like if I was living that good, hell yeah, I want to keep living that good.
Yeah, I want to.
But at the same time, it's like, I think there's a point when it comes to like money and power and control that you kind of lose all morality. And like sense.
Money changes people is what they say.
Yeah, 100%. And you kind of like,
not everyone.
You maybe your perception of reality changes to the point to where like into almost a selfish.
Yeah, and convenience.
And convenience.
And comfortability.
Comfortability.
And it's like, heck yeah, dude, if I make that much money, me and wifey will hop on a PJ and go to freaking Cabo. You know what I mean? It's
that
like
was the most 1%er thing I've ever heard.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know what you mean.
But it's like,
exactly.
we only get a little bit of time here. Let's live it how we want to. But at the same time, I can see the blindness there, especially if I would consider myself a good person and I just made a lot of money.
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get to that point to where it's like, we're going to live the best life we can.
Yeah.
So I can see how that would be a problem everywhere. And I don't even know, like, what do you think is considered, when are you in that 1%? Like, you got to think how many people are in this world, so 1% is like...
When you compare us to the rest of the world, we're pretty high up there.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, do you think
just being in America, even in
America, yeah.
Just being born in America, and just say you're at poverty level.
Yeah.
Say you make $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
You're already doing better than like 90% of the world's
So you're in the
population.
top 10%. Already.
You're already in the top 10%.
Wow.
But
if you're in a
the crazy
developed
thing
country
is,
in general.
yeah. The crazy thing is though, once you're in that position, like to get to the 1% is like even harder than being in that 90%.
Yeah, that's what's
you know what
crazy.
I mean.
Yeah.
The 1% has such a far gap, and the crazy thing is like
COVID made it worse.
Yeah, and like the 1%, there's even the top 1% of the 1% that like control everything.
Yeah.
Like these CEOs of like what is it, BlackRock and like.
Oh yeah, BlackRock owns
like
much.
Yeah, if you look at like a
Johnson & Johnson.
What is it called? Like kind of like a spider chart almost.
Okay, yeah.
And like a branch chart that shows you like, okay,
sectors are
this company, like these bottom companies down here, and you see like who owns them, and then you see who owns them. It all kind of funnels back to like 4 or 5 major corporations that control everything.
That's why the sellout term probably exists, because a lot of startup companies. So like I work at a startup company. I don't know anything about it getting bought anytime soon.
Have they had any offers?
That's above me,
They for
They
sure
don't talk to
will
me about that.
They
But
for
like
sure
I'm
will.
sure, we get visited by really large corporations and stuff, and they like what they see.
Yeah.
But like if they were to sell out, it would probably be to some sort of government controlled organization.
For sure.
Because a lot of our contracts are with the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think all of that's public information too. I think like all of our contracts, like we have one with the Space Force, we have one with the Air Force, we have some DOE projects. That's the Department of Energy. And that's
working with TWA or TVA.
TVA. Yeah, we work with TVA.
TVA.
That one is called the FA. I don't know. Never mind.
You don't know if you could say it.
Yeah. I don't know what I mean. This is the only job I've ever had to actually sign an NDA for, and I don't know specifically. I've mentioned this to them before, but they're pretty cool about talking about what we do. I'm just not allowed to share like anything that has to do.
What's in those?
Non-disclosure agreement.
Non-disclosure agreement. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like that probably just.
I can talk about things that everybody like you can get on the internet. Like what I do, like me, I don't actually do anything that's like specific to a patent. I'm supposed to just come in and power their devices, make them communicate, and improve that, and be able to scale it up. So it's like we have a small little, like example, little like just test running machine where it does things in small increments or small amounts. And then we get our big boys. We actually have to provide a lot of power and build control boxes and stuff for it. That's stuff that other people do just for different applications.
Yeah, that NDA is more so you're not going to go to a direct competitor and or other person and run your mouth about this is what we do, this is how we do it, this is what we did, and all
talking
this,
about the chemistry.
And then they're like, okay, say that again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, either that or that motherfucker's like recording.
Yeah.
Like right
what voltage
there,
and
like,
current ranges were you using?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting.
I think that's the
specific.
stuff I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
Like what the system
Not
actually needs to
disclosing
optimize
sensitive
growth.
information.
Yeah. That makes so much sense, though, and especially at a startup company that is doing something so monumental, I can see why you would have to sign something like that.
Yeah, and if anyone's interested in watching, I don't know if I sent that video to you, Tucker, but we won the Traction Award for Knoxville. So for out of all startup companies in the area, we were the ones who had the most growth. So they gave us this award, and I think we're going to be on TV. I don't know when. They already showed us the video, but they came in and like interviewed the CEO and like the first worker she ever hired, my coworker.
Yeah.
Her name's Anna as well.
Yeah,
so both my boss and my coworker's names are Anna.
Yeah.
And I'm in the video. They like shoot some stuff, some videos of just what we do.
Yeah.
All that, and it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Hell yeah.
And it's like really high quality and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's dope. You all got that award.
Yeah, they're gonna run it on the local news in Knoxville, and I recently found out that apparently like all old people like to watch the local news.
Oh,
other people like
100%.
generations above us.
Yeah, those are people
We don't
that
ever
still
do
have
that.
cable.
But
No, our
so-
news comes from social media and everything like that.
Right.
But when the old people are still scared because they still are like fear mongering on the news.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
my
the
nana and
news-
papa are.
Yeah, like the news has kind of turned into just like fear porn.
Dude, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw. Yes.
We need a headline.
Yeah, well, it's like you turn on the news and like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, is there bad shit happening in the world? Absolutely. There's always been bad shit happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But like, COVID really pulled that veil back for me because I would hear about how divided the country was and how everybody was mad and rioting and hated each other, and like I would go out in my community and like, granted, we don't live in a very like diverse place,
Right.
Yeah.
but at the same time, like there are different views out here
100%.
in our area. Like it's
Yeah.
not complete, BFE
Yeah.
redneck country.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
I think
like
people
20
do have a
minutes down the road.
misconception with that, but I
Yeah.
would say Tennessee is one of the least diverse.
Yeah, I mean,
relative.
it is a very red
It's
state.
always a very like 90% plus red
But
state.
that
so-
being said, like regardless of the politics of it, like I'd go out in the community and like people are still being nice to each other. People are still holding doors for each other.
Exactly.
They're asking each other how their day is. They don't even know that guy from Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just like, how you doing today, buddy? You know, just like, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
good. How about you? And it's like people were still genuinely nice to each other and like still a community.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay. Because you can sit here and think, okay, the nation's going to shit. Like, what can I do to blah, 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 help this nation? It's like, actually, the best thing to do is to start in your community. Grow your community. Be a good person for your community.
100%.
And let that kind of be like a light in the darkness. And it grows over time. You know, just the more, you just got to start with your community. So that's what, like, COVID had kind of pulled that veil back to me. Is just like looking at the news is like, I'm turning this shit off.
Yeah.
Because I that's not my experience. I go out in my community and I have good experiences. I have good connections. I have meaningful connections. People being nice to each other and doing stuff for each other. And it's like that's not the case here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I can't control what goes on in the nation. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
It's way bigger than me. But I can control what happens in my community. I can control. If I see, an older lady struggling carrying her groceries out to her car. I can go up and help her take her to her car, or hold the door open for somebody. It's just little shit like that.
Yeah.
To aid to that, there's also just a lot of people moving here right now too from other states.
There are.
Like it is getting more diverse,
Still.
and there's so many people that aren't even political and don't vote, aren't
There
even
are.
worried about that. They're just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Their life's fine. There's people that choose to just close all that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could agree with that. But I also do think, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, the perspective coming from you being white is very different too.
Yeah.
Because like,
100%.
imagine if you weren't white and you see that old lady that needs help and you approach her, how is she gonna act if in this area? Because I mean, me being Hispanic, I've definitely dealt with some racism here in Tennessee and stuff like that. And when you go to other places, like I went to Texas for Thanksgiving, literally everyone was Hispanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Everywhere I
have a
went.
huge,
right there, yeah.
huge Hispanic population, huge black population, like
Yeah.
a lot more than here. Like,
yeah, like honestly, I saw like 2 white people when I
Yeah.
went to Buc-ee's in Texas. I was like,
Really?
there are no white people here.
Wow.
Yeah, and I recognize that. I do recognize that, just because.
I'm glad you do have that positive.
Yeah, I
outlook,
don't
though,
want to be ignorant to that. Like, do I think that white privilege is used as an excuse sometimes. Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, like, I do recognize, like, I'm white. I'm in the middle class. Like, I have some privileges that most people don't. Yeah. You know, especially people of like other races or ethnicities. Being
mindful of that is huge.
Yeah.
Because you're not like this entitled person up here who's just like, oh, I can't do that.
Like pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
You can relate to people. And
I can relate to people. Like, I can't. It's hard to completely empathize. Yeah. Because I don't have experience of living in that culture or being from that culture, experiencing hate and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, I don't care about that type of stuff. Like, there's a reason Martin Luther King created such a, monumental movement, is because he opened people's eyes to being like, judge somebody by their content of their character, not the color of their skin. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. If you're a good person, you're a good person. Yeah. If you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person. Yeah. There's shitty people everywhere. There's shitty black people, shitty white people, shitty Mexicans. Like, there's shitty everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's also good people everywhere.
Exactly.
And it doesn't, just because you're a different ethnicity than a white person doesn't mean that you're, you know what I'm trying to say? You're not a bad person, or like the stereotypes that have been created do not apply to you right off the bat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just, and that goes both ways.
I think all of what you're saying here is just tying back to where this even started. It's fear.
Fear,
and it's what the news like puts out to people 100%. And stuff, and it builds up these walls in their minds, and they're like
division.
Oh. Yeah, and it's the same thing like with like the Teachers Guild, like want to not like teach kids at such a young age, saying that they are different. Because it's like, why are you even putting that in their heads? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Jamal over here is black. Jason over here is Chinese. Christian is Spanish. Bailey is white. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, they were treated differently a long time ago. So you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's like, why even put the fact that it's putting an eggshell underneath the other kids' feet.
I think we didn't really have to deal with that as much.
We did not. But Hannah, I have firsthand experience of like what she had to like learn about
education,
and I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, but I'm glad there's teachers combating that are like, hey, we don't even need to plant this seed in their brains yet.
Thinking about that.
You know what I mean? They're friends. They're hanging out. You see them on the playground.
I think that comes from a place of racism itself.
It does. It does 100%.
You know what I mean? Yes, I feel like it's like you need to treat him differently because he's a different skin color. It's like, whoa.
Some people don't want that. They're just like, just treat me like
a person.
Like,
just be normal and like
not some like victim, because like we didn't experience all that. That was our ancestors.
Yeah.
But
like
everybody did fucked up shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I do think like at the end of the day, like I think that creates more division than anything else. Is like, yes, do you have to be like conscious of of history? Yes, absolutely. Do you have to be conscious of like people have different cultures and act differently, or just like in social situations, like they do things differently. That's okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like you come from a different culture. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna look at you and see like I don't look at Christian and be like Hispanic, Mexican culture. Exactly. I don't look at him and see that. Exactly. I look at him and like that's Christian. Yeah, that's my friend Christian.
It's where it's applicable. Yeah, applicable. It's like I might see some things a little differently or have different values or something. Like it's just like, oh, that's because he comes from a different background than I do or something like that.
But but that should be welcome because it's all relative in our own lives. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Or it's just like if we're having a debate or something and you see that I take a point of view and you're just like, oh, well, that makes sense.
And it's not because you're Hispanic.
Right.
It's because of the way you were brought up.
Which just happens to line up with being Hispanic.
It does, but
it's not bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I definitely think that type of thinking like that they implement in like education nowadays and other places too. I mean, it happens all over the place. Mm-hmm. I do think that comes from a place of racism and division. Mm-hmm. I think it's the exact opposite of what they're trying to do.
We're introducing it.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. You're automatically saying he's different. Mm-hmm. He's singled out. He's in a group. And these people are in a group, and I'm like, no, like we're all in one big group.
At some point, it's good for people to learn that, but it shouldn't be ingrained into them. It should be like, there's a good way to warn somebody as they're growing up. Like, if anybody ever says something to you like this, it might be because of these things.
Yeah, and that's
and
more.
they're
That's
an
more.
ignorant person.
But like once
You
they're
shouldn't take
older,
that to
not
heart.
just like right from a kid, it's just like your ancestors dealt with this, and
Yeah.
you guys need
this
to be
now
nice.
this now defines you and like your
Right.
mindset towards life. Like I just
Sympathize with what's there
Yeah.
contextually around them, not
Yeah.
hey, this happened way back then, and because of that, I'm going to treat you differently.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah.
deal with who you are as a person now
Yeah. Which that
and help you grow.
we're sitting here trying to ignorantly explain all this in our own minds.
Exactly.
But
I
like,
haven't had this like thought process in a while, so it's kind of coming in.
Yeah.
It's coming
but
raw.
at the same time, like we understand it. We all understand it.
Yeah.
I think 99% of people understand it.
Yeah.
There is that subset of people that want to be ignorant and have prejudices
Yeah.
and hate in their heart, which
Mhm.
is, I don't want to say it's fine. I think it's wrong, but at the same time, people are allowed to live their lives the way they want to live them.
Yeah.
I wish it didn't happen, and I'll do everything in my power if I see it to actively stop that from happening.
Exactly.
But I think we all understand, like, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just gotta be
Like,
happy.
yeah, we're just trying to be happy, live our lives, and have friends.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they look like,
I'm not trying to be a
sound
warrior
like,
about
or
it either.
yeah, or not be a warrior about it. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
being mad every day, like
Yeah, or just like actively
not good.
seeking out shit that's not there.
right. It's just like trying to start a problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that on social media.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I do think it goes back to what MLK said in the content of your character. But I do think it's like we need to start recognizing the mindsets of these people, not what color of the skin they are. Like, why are you so? I don't want to say fucked up, but it's like, hey, you have some mental health issues. Maybe this is racism. I don't care what color you are. You know what I mean? It's like. I don't know.
My biggest thing is when I see white people getting offended for other races, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, bro, you need to don't do that. If they're not offended, you have no right to be offended.
Yeah.
But if they are offended, then yes, you can kind of be like, yeah, he's right. You shouldn't do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's kind of like. It's kind of privilege in itself too, just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I
like
have a commanding voice.
Yeah, I'm a commanding voice, and like I'm offended too, and this is like no one gives a fuck about you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's them that it's affecting.
Yeah, like if something racist happened, like towards a black guy,
mm-hmm.
and then the riots happen, and it's like 99% white. It's like, bro, this is a little weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, we don't want that shit to happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, the black community is going to bring that to light.
Yeah.
And we can all show our support.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not our place to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it is. I feel like, I want them to take the reins. I want them to stand up for themselves and let them know, like, we stand behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is your issue.
Yeah.
We want you guys to fix this, and we'll help you any way we can.
Yeah, 100%.
What's fucked up is a lot of people feed off of that, though.
They do feed off of that.
They like use it for their own
beneficial
benefit.
gain. Yeah. That was a deep
Yeah.
one. We went
I know.
really, we borderline getting demonetized if we were.
Yeah. It's like, okay, did we say COVID? Did we say anything about the vaccines? We talked
Did
about
we say
race,
riots?
religion. You know,
That kind of stuff is.
it can. If we had a larger channel, then that stuff is definitely like, kind of like pushing.
Because
the
what we
meter a
just,
little
I feel like what we just said
Hmm.
is not the. I think that is the majority view. What we just said, it's just that's not the view that is being put into the media, and the media controls the narrative, and that's not the narrative they want to spread, because division, as shitty as it is, division creates money.
Yeah, I was about to say it sells.
It sells.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fear porn.
Yeah.
Division. It all sells. It keeps people engaged. It keeps people. It's like a motivator almost. It's kind of
I have something to stress about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Instead
Something
of
to complain about.
Yeah, dude, you're the guest.
you just pull one out, and it's a topic. We're just gonna go deep on it for like 15, 20 minutes. So
Now it is time. To go deep. Okay, read it. Ask us the question.
Yeah. Have we become less happy in the age of technology?
that's a good one.
Yes.
Yes.
And no.
Yes and no.
I think it depends
agree.
on what your personality is.
And how you use technology.
Yes, because for some people, if they use technology to get away, but they're also struggling to find a way to connect with people, like physically,
It's definitely a vice for some people.
it's kind it's like it's kind of like an addiction where it's like you struggle. I think this is going to be a big problem for the newer generations because every kid's an iPad kid now or something like that.
Yeah.
All these kids get so dialed into what they're doing on their iPad.
Yeah.
And when they get older, they're not going to have the social skills that we had, because back when we were young, phones were still flip phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We were playing on a phone all day. You went outside and rode bikes and hung out with your neighborhood friends.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just experience things with other people where you learned, like, I shouldn't do this, or that was pretty cool, I think I'll do that again.
Yeah.
And you just... I saw a really interesting post the other day where it was like, change in your life is really good.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly exposing yourself to new environments, just new situations in general. And when you don't talk to people, talking is really good. Mm-hmm. Talking to people is really good. If you're not talking to anyone, your brain isn't expanding to all these possibilities, all these different points of views. I would say all my friends I made in college are completely different people. Yeah. Nobody's similar. And every time they come and visit me in Knoxville, I'm just like, dang. We had so many good conversations and new perspectives that I just didn't think about, like work-related stuff. Mm-hmm. Like even just like started talking about work stuff with one of my friends, and he offered so many points of views and what he values, and I was like, that's a good idea. Yeah. I think I'll implement some of that into my life.
Yeah, you're not kind of stuck in that echo chamber.
Yeah, if you come home every day and you get on your computer and you just play video games every day and stuff, like, yeah, you might talk to your friends on there, but what are you talking about? You're talking about, where are we going to drop? Where are we going to drop? Like, what kind of guns you got? You got some ammo for me? Things like that. And it's just like, you get off of that, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and
just do it again.
Where did you grow for your real life?
100%, dude.
And I mean, there's people that make a living off of video games. And
that's 1% in that.
Right, not everyone needs to be doing that.
Yeah. But at the same time, those people make the lesser percent think that they can do that, even though they're not actively pursuing that. Like, oh man, I'm going to be good at Fortnite. I'm going to be like Ninja. But it's like, okay, you're not streaming. You're not uploading content.
You're not taking it seriously. You're not disciplined.
Exactly. Like, unless you're competing in the Fortnite Cup Series when you're making money off of it, or streaming, then it's like, this is just an addiction that you have. But you compensate it for like, oh, I'm going to be like Ninja.
Oh, we're not perfect. We play video games.
Of course.
Yeah, but I just had that thought too, though, is like, when did we play video games, though? Late into the night.
Late into the night, or if it's super cold outside.
Or if it's super cold, when you weren't allowed to be outside.
Exactly.
If we were allowed to be outside, boy, we were outside.
Hopping on the bikes. We were like bombing hills on skateboards and scooters. Yeah. Like we were just running the roads, just having fun, being guys, and like getting out and like being outside. Yeah. But yeah, I do, like, my little brother's a perfect example. He's in a lot of sports, so it's kind of changed. But when he was younger, it's just like, that's how him and his friends hung out. They just played video games. Yeah. That's all they did. Yeah. They played Fortnite. They played Rainbow Six. They played Call of Duty. Any of these games, that's just what they did. Yeah. They just got on there, they talked, and don't get me wrong, he built a good relationship with his friends doing that. Yeah. But at the same time, like, that has nothing in comparison to being out and, like, getting in trouble and doing stupid shit and, like, learning lessons in life, like, when you have no consequences. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the worst that's going to happen is, fuck, we got grounded. Yeah. I can't hang out with my friends for a week. You know, it's just like, then you learn, and you're learning, like, okay, I can push the boundary a little bit here, but I can't over here, and, like, you're figuring it out. Yeah. Plus, you're around you're around people, and, like, you know, like, that's how I met Christian, was through you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are really good friends, and, like, you introduced me to him, and, like, now we're all really good friends, and, like, 100%. Talk and hang out. Like, that's why that's so important, is getting out and hanging out with people like that, not being stuck in a house with technology. Dude, I couldn't agree more. And if you put those kids in a room, then they're all like, yo, do you see this? Mm-hmm. You see this?
Have you all seen that video of, it was like a 13-year-old's birthday party, and they got him, like, the parents got him a limo, and it's like every one of them are like this in the limo.
No way. Yeah. What the heck? And then it's like they'll be together, and it's like, dang, would we be having more fun right now if we were just all on our consoles? Would we be having more fun right now if we were playing Rainbow Six, or if we were playing Fortnite?
Not at all, because
no, I'm not saying us. I'm saying put those kids in that environment, and they're like on their phones. And it's like they would be having more fun if they were each in their own spaces playing a game with each other. They don't know how to make that. They have an objective whenever you're playing a game, and that is good. But they need to learn how to implement that into life.
This is a distraction when you're in social situations. Yeah. Because social situations, especially when you're like in an unfamiliar environment with people that you don't necessarily know too well. Mm-hmm. Like, you might have like one or two friends, but then, like, you're at your friend's birthday party and it's all his friends.
Yeah.
So like at that point, it's like when we were younger and that happened, like you had a birthday party at Laser Tag.
Yeah.
And invited all your friends.
Yeah.
People that I had never met before.
Yeah.
But I went there and had a great fucking time because
Yeah.
it's like, yo, all these guys are dope.
Yeah.
You know what I
And-
mean? It's like,
but
I
we-
just made like 6 new friends.
Yeah.
And we had a great time at Laser Tag.
Exactly.
But those kids, when they have this phone in their hand, it's an excuse. And I find myself doing it a lot.
That's what I was
When
about
I'm
to say.
uncomfortable in a situation, I find myself like getting on my phone and like, because this is comfortable. I
Yeah.
can control this and all
Yeah.
this out here. But then, you get that feeling like, all right,
Yeah.
go talk.
Yeah, I know.
Go meet somebody.
Yeah.
Just go start a conversation because that's uncomfortable. But once you do it, it brings so much growth. And like Christian was saying, new perspectives and like stuff that you never thought about. And like this guy's talking to you now. It's like some of my favorite conversations are people that I just like, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
It's like I was at Sports Clips the other day and I saw a guy with a Gate City Blue Devils football shirt on.
Yeah.
And we both were on our phones for a second. I was sitting there, I was just like, fuck, I ain't got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
How far has Gate City gotten in the state championship?
Yeah.
And then we ended up talking about fucking work and his kids.
Wow.
We had like a 20-minute conversation waiting on us to get our haircut.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then when I got up, he shook my hand. He's like, "Nice to meet you, man. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving." Blah blah blah. And it's just like, boom, connection. Like right there. It's like,
You might have helped that guy's day feel better too.
yeah, exactly. It's just like that to me was so much better than sitting there on my phone. Like the 20 minutes flew by.
Yeah.
Because I was engaged in a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they also say that it's like you shouldn't always be comfortable, and I think that technology is allowing people to be comfortable more often, and you're making less changes when you're comfortable. When you're not comfortable is when you're learning so much because you're like, I need to get comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to
You're
get to that,
trying to get comfortable.
And it's waves. You should be doing a healthy amount of that. You shouldn't just always be in a spiral, But I think that the growth of technology and stuff also gives people a chance who have victim-like personalities
Yeah.
to just cope and be like, oh yeah, let me just look at all the sad things to make myself not feel as bad about myself.
And the algorithm feeds that once you start it.
And you just keep diving into that. And
So then
suddenly
the
you're talking to nobody.
only thing you're seeing now is, through this lens, this little lens. When the picture is like a 60-inch television screen, and your phone is the only video that you get.
Yeah.
You just get a zoomed in picture of it.
Yeah.
And I think that also talks to why I think people are less happy now.
Yeah.
Because if you go on Instagram and look,
It's a highlight reel.
yeah, it's a highlight reel of everybody's life.
Yeah.
You are looking in through
Comparison.
you're looking in through a sight glass of the giant picture that is their life.
Yeah.
All their traumas, all the bad shit that's happened to them. Like, I can't tell you how many people that I look at on Instagram that look so happy, but in real life are miserable.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're dealing with. But if you looked on Instagram, you'd never know.
Yeah.
Because when you look on Instagram, it's just like, oh my God, we're so happy we're in San Francisco, or oh my God, we're so happy we're in said city, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and behind the scenes, maybe they have like a ton of financial trouble because they feel the need to compensate and go on all these trips and make bad decisions with their money. And like, you don't see that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So then when people see these highlight reels, they're like, fuck, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, and then they say comparison is the ultimate thief of joy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So then it's like, whoa, what am I doing with my life? Why does my Instagram
Why am I
page
not in
look
San
like this?
Francisco?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
am I not in these places?
Yeah,
And it's just like, well, maybe because you're making smart decisions and you only take a trip once a year
Yeah.
with your friends and
Exactly.
you save up for it and you do it the right way. It's just
Yeah.
like these people have different situations and like I was saying, it's just a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't compare yourself to the highlight reels you see on social media because
Yeah.
it is not that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own struggles. Everybody has their own shit they're going through. Just because you yourself don't post everything about your life on social media that's all good.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
I would love it when people post vulnerable shit.
Like Goggins, dude.
Yeah.
It, like in
Not even like Goggins, just like people we know personally. Like
Yeah.
like for example, Jacob Willis. Like Jacob, if you're watching this, dude, like shout out to you because you're doing exactly what I did, and it's fucking commendable. I love that.
Yeah.
But like Jacob used to be very heavy,
Yeah.
and now he's in the gym working hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude,
and like he posts pictures of himself previously and being like, look how far I've come. It's just like that's struggle.
Yeah.
That's real.
Dude.
I love that.
Jacob, if you are watching this, dude, I was driving to go to get me and Hannah dinner the other day, and I pulled out of the parking lot, and I was like down the street, like almost to the end of Roller Street, like where Sullivan Street is, and I see Jacob walking, and this is a couple months back because it's still hot outside, and I rolled down my window. I was like, yo, what's up, dude? I'm like, what are you doing out here with a hoodie on? He was like, dude, I'm just trying to burn out all this fat. And I was like, and he didn't have any headphones. And I was like, no music, no nothing. He's like, nah, dude, I left my phone at home. And I was like,
You still did it.
That is sick, dude.
Mhm.
I was like, that is freaking awesome.
I would have gone home.
Yeah, like that.
Personally.
I'm like that. It just. I was like,
You had
damn.
to honk to get me to turn my music down. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly. But I was like, that's so freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. I love seeing that.
I love seeing that on social media. Like, to me, that's what I love.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the real, vulnerable, honest shit. I don't
Yeah.
love the, girls in bikini booty pics. Like,
Yeah.
that shit, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's great to see. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But, like, moving on from that, it's just like, every girl does that.
Yeah.
Every said model does this.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see homie out here grinding like Jacob is doing. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I have another buddy. You remember Tori from Planet Fitness?
Yeah.
That Jack.
Oh, I remember Tori. Yeah.
He's back in doing like competition and shows and stuff. And
Really?
I think he just either placed or won the last one he was in.
No way.
And it's just like, he's always posting motivation. He's always posting like updates to like his physique and stuff. And it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, you found something that you're passionate about and you are killing it.
Yeah.
I love seeing that
Yeah.
shit.
I did too.
And I love it too because they don't just post the highlights of it. They post the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They
yeah.
post pictures of themselves in the gym when they're not looking the best and they're just like, it's been a rough day today.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's so much better, more beneficial for people to see than
Mhm.
the highlight reel of you standing on stage with a medal.
Yeah.
You know?
And that goes
Yeah.
to show that there's two sides to it. There's good things
Mhm.
about technology growing and all that.
Exactly.
There are.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, like what matters most is kids.
It does.
That's where the biggest companies are making money because they know that the kids are on there all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how many kids have stole their mom's credit card to go buy more emotes and skins on Fortnite?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Why are there $2,000 in V-Bucks?
unfortunately, I don't think I'm a pessimist, but I think I'm more of a realist, and I see this problem getting worse in the near term because I think that, there's a whole lot of connecting things here. I think that a wiser person would tell you to make more mistakes early on in life so that they're not as impactful to your crucial adult life years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these kids that are going to be on their phones throughout this early childhood that aren't going to really face a lot of hurdles that they need to get over.
Until they're in the real world.
And those mistakes are going to be more costly in the future than if they had them early on.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of people that are going to struggle socially. You're going to see a lot of people that struggle professionally
Mhm.
because they never felt that struggle. And by the time they do hit it, they're overwhelmed. And they
Yeah.
have no idea how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I see where you're coming from, and I do agree with that point of view. Myself, I'm more of a optimist.
I definitely am as well.
I try to be.
Yeah,
I definitely
and, dude, I know.
But I see
it's hard to when you see the writing on the wall, it's really hard
I
to be
can read.
optimistic. I still try to be optimistic just because to me that could happen, but we have an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
As the age we're in is like, we're gonna start getting married. Baby's already married. We're gonna start getting married, starting families, having our own children.
Mhm.
We have the opportunity
And responsibility.
to be different, to raise our children differently, and to make the next generation better. That's where I feel like the generation before us, maybe not the generation before us, a couple generations before us, like our parents' generation. Luckily, our parents did a great job.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to deal with the stuff they're dealing with now.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the generation now is getting left behind, is because like they're kind of being blamed for all this stuff when it's like, well, you're the adults, you're the the responsibility of the caretakers. Like it's your responsibility to raise your children correctly and to be on top of all this stuff and not allow this stuff to happen. The problem is it's easy and it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like when a kid's crying and being fussy, it's so much easier to give them a phone and rather just talk to them, sit down with them, put some work in, spend some time with your kids, because you're busy in your own life trying to make money, support your family.
Exactly.
But it's like you got to take the time to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm an optimist, because like I see the opportunity to build a better future.
And I'm with you. I think there's very capable people of being parents, but I do also know that there's lots of people that should not be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I see it in my own life.
Yeah,
I see
100%.
people who are not good parents and they really shouldn't have kids, and it breaks your heart because the kids are so sweet, so gentle, and they're not taken care of.
No, dude, I'm completely with that.
I don't like the fact that companies monetize that, go after children. I think that's very predatory.
Yeah.
And it's kind of disgusting in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, can you not make enough money off of adults?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They really can't, though, because they have more eyes from the children nowadays.
I know. But that's what I'm saying is, like, I think that's so disgusting and like fucked up. Like, why would you do that?
We're polluting them,
There's
and
no-
we're just funneling it in right there.
Dude, the more and more that I like open my eyes to the shit that goes on in the world, the more and more I find that video you showed me like 3 or 4 years ago. I
Pet Goat.
I Pet Goat
2.
Dude, I Pet Goat 2.
Oh, I remember that.
Dude,
Yeah.
that video, like when I watched it the first time, I was just like,
What the?
watch it again.
Yeah.
I immediately played it again and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It is saying so much.
It is. Dude.
And like what we're talking about right now is like at the end, whenever the child is disconnected and his head is busted open and broke, and he's just crying in the fetal position, that is what you're seeing.
Yeah.
You're seeing broken children
Yeah.
being unplugged, like when they're unplugged from that media plug, that's what you see is that. Like these broken children.
I have a question for you all.
What?
When we were in elementary school, middle school, high school, do you ever once remember there being conversations of people being depressed? Just
no.
Very few and far between.
right. Now it's like everybody's depressed, and I think it's just that everybody sees all this stuff on social media and they're like, maybe I'm depressed too. And the way you talk to yourself, the way you, like if you just sit there and you pout and you're just, you know, oh man, I'm just like this, and you're putting all your attention onto just what you're seeing like that. You're not picking yourself up, and you're not like finding a way to get out of it. You're coping and staying in a fetal position.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what's happening right now with a lot of kids.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, well,
they don't know how to speak to other people about this because they're just like, let me just go drown my sorrows into social media.
Or substances. I've seen those huge increase.
Kids are doing crazy things now.
Dude, my mom teaches at a freaking elementary school. The amount of vapes and marijuana that they confiscate from these kids.
At elementary school?
Well, granted, it is kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
But a lot of this stuff is like 4th and 5th grade. Like, there's kids having sex in 4th and 5th grade.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because of what all they're exposed to and what they know. I will say my parents never, ever monitored what I did while, like, on, how do I say this? I wasn't sheltered from seeing.
Neither was I.
Yeah,
I could see just about
And
anything.
we
saw some shit.
dove in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that
We got caught
a lot of, you know, building up walls around kids is also not preparing them for the future either. Like, don't say that around him. Like, I don't just go around saying awful, you know, demented things
Deplorable
around
stuff,
kids.
yeah.
Don't sit there and curse around kids and stuff. You want to set a good example, but preventing your kids from seeing certain things is just like,
it's hindering.
you're going to deal with this later on your own.
Yeah.
And you're not going to know what to do because all the other kids around you who did see that will know what to do.
I would much rather
You'd be alienated.
I would much rather my kid deal with that whenever he is near, like around me, and we can talk about it, and he can come to me and feel safe to explain like why he feels the way he does, and like, you know, or she. But why they feel the way they do, or you know, what they saw and like what they're thinking about it and everything like that is like. That's great because I'm here and I've experienced that, and I'm an adult now. I'm your father. I can explain this situation to you and teach you a better mindset towards it. Versus I sheltered them from that. Then they go off to college, say 6 hours away, and now they're dealing with it by themselves, and they're just in this little cocoon. They don't know what to do. They've never experienced it. They have no tools. They have nothing, no guidelines. It's like that's what goes back to the responsibility of parents. Like that's your responsibility as a parent.
I bet it's kind of hard to do that. To be I need to let my child struggle some.
Yeah.
So that they can understand and get the value of things.
That's like what Joe Rogan says. He was like, well, I have got to the point I am today because of how much struggles he has gotten through. He's like, I don't want my daughters to go through at all what I went through. But he's like, they're going to know what discipline is. So like his daughters are in martial arts. And that's a great example of discipline of like, you have to work hard because life is not easy. So it's like creating a struggle that will only benefit them.
Yeah.
Not one that could fall into a path of destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we've had that conversation before of just like, how am I going, and it's a hard job, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it. It scares the shit out of me, and I hope I can. But how do I, because like the values and the mindset I have in my life are all from the fucked up things that have happened to me in my life.
Exactly, yeah.
And the struggle that I've gone through. And I'm so grateful for that because it has brought me to this point.
Yeah. But
how do I instill those same values and mindsets in my children without putting them through that struggle?
100%, yeah.
It is so hard to do.
I can only imagine, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's hard, maybe impossible thing to do, but I'm going to try my best.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like, how do you do that?
Yeah, and I think it's just
you want to give your kids a better life, but then that comes at the drawback of now they don't have these set values that you learn through life experiences.
You just need to instill in your children that they can always come to you, and you have to be an open parent. One thing that I couldn't commend my dad enough for is me being able to communicate anything to him. Yeah. If I like went out and like tripped freaking acid, okay, this legit happened. Little PG-13/R right here. I had to call my dad while I was tripping on acid. I'm like, yo, I need you to come pick me up. He didn't ream me whenever he picked me up. He's like, no, you're good. Let's calm down. I'll get you home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you need to be able to allow those conversations to be happening. Be like, if you do that, I'm disowning you. And I think a lot of parents have done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that's healthy at all.
Well, because now your dad understands that you're in his care now. He can watch after you. He can make sure you're safe and you're okay.
Yeah.
Versus ring your ass over the telephone and now you're in a worse place and may go do something stupid or get yourself hurt or killed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's commendable. I've always thought that about your dad. It's like I've always been comfortable being like completely honest with him.
Literally whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, he's unbiased and unjudgmental. Mm-hmm. And I fuck with that so hard. And I think that's the way you should be, because then your kids aren't scared to tell you things. And don't get me wrong, you can ream their ass later. Mm-hmm. After the situation's taken care of, and being like, hey, let's not do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And that's exactly.
So you had a bad time, let's not do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Dude, I thought I was going to die and go to hell.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened. I'm like, Dad, the world's ending. I don't know how. I'm just predicting it. I need you to come pick me up right now. You know what I mean? That's literally what I thought was going to happen. And then he was, and the whole reason that I'm not in debt is because I learned from his mistakes. Like, I remember going and picking up food stamps and like buying food off WIC, which is Women, Infants, and Children. You get like peanut butter, milk, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Going to the store, seeing the struggle. But when I grew up, my dad's like, yeah, we went through that. But I'm going to be honest with you, like, it was hard and we made a bunch of mistakes when we were younger. And if it wasn't for my dad instilling that in my brain, who knows how much stupid debt that I would be in now? Because at my age, he was drowning in debt for a new car, motorcycle, whatever. You know what I mean? And my grandparents didn't do a great job of that. They kind of enabled that in him. And, you know, everybody learns from their mistakes. But had my dad not went through all he had gone through, I would have had to go through so much more.
And also, I feel like if your dad had not been vulnerable and honest with you,
100%, yeah.
Then, because like I feel like that's also a thing that parents, they feel like they have to be the authority figure.
Perfect. And they have to put on this,
and they have to put on this mask. And it's like, no, bro. Like, honestly, when I was a kid, that's why I respected your dad so much. Is because I would see that in like other people, other grown-ups that were just like acting all perfect, but then like I would hear gossip and be like, oh wow, that's going on. You know what I mean? It's just like. But with your dad, it's just like, I never figured out anything about your dad that your dad hadn't already told us.
Exactly.
Or, you know?
Exactly.
Or hadn't at least, like, communicated with us and been like, boys, I did this when I was younger, and it's a mistake, and I don't want you guys to do the same thing, and that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And been like,
yes.
Appreciate that, Eddie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was there's a genuine connection that was made there. Just be like, wow, he's not full of shit like the rest of these adults.
Yeah. Have you had your dad on the podcast yet?
Dude, I would love to.
That
would be insane. I'd love to have him on.
Yes.
So, Dad, if you're watching this, I know you are. Whenever you're ready, you say the word.
Yeah. Hell yes.
That'd be so fun, dude.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get over into the starting five. Starting five this week is going to be winter vibes. We did fall vibes at the beginning of fall. Mm-hmm. We're going to kick off the winter season with winter vibes. Christian, since you're our guest, you want to go first? We'll just do them all at once. And you can give like a little description.
Elaborate.
Elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
But we go 5 through 1, 5 being your least favorite, and 1 being your absolute favorite.
Yep.
Okay. My least of my favorites would be sweatpants / bundling up more.
Yeah.
It gets a little cozier.
Yeah.
It gets colder outside.
Mm-hmm.
I love sweatpants, dude.
I do.
Spending more time inside.
Yeah. Is
that
that
doing
4?
more? No, that's my number 5.
That's also your number 5.
That's like that all goes together.
Yeah.
And my 4th one would probably be seeing bare trees. That leads into my 3rd one, which is the ending of a cycle. Like you're getting towards that everything's died off.
Yeah.
All the nature is died
Yeah.
off. You're getting back to, planning for the future roadmap.
Yeah.
It's like everything's stuff at work starts to slow down. You're starting to think more and having your own personal time. You're spending more time inside, so you're more with your thoughts.
Yeah.
You're planning. It comes with a trade-off. Like they always say that mental health always starts to go down during the winter time. So it's like you're more optimistic that things are going to start coming to shore a little more.
Yeah.
And so that leads into the family time.
Second one?
That's my first one. My second one was, I guess that one should have been the fifth one. Leaving work and it's dark outside.
That's 3?
Yeah. That would have been, I guess. I'm a little unorganized right now. But
It's okay.
But, I don't know. It feels like whenever I leave work and it's darker outside, it's colder. It's like you actually feel like things have come down to an end.
Yeah.
Whereas during the summer you leave work and it's still bright outside.
There's
and
still
It's
time in the
bright
day.
until 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so things just start to get more chill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But family time is number one because that's when the holidays come around and you're like, for example, this Christmas I'm going to be going to LA to visit my family and I only see them once a year.
Yeah.
And it's just things to look forward to.
Yeah.
The start of a new year. And it really shouldn't be that way that people come down to the end of the year to be like, oh, next year's going to be different.
Yeah.
In reality, we should always be building
But it's a good reset.
It is.
It's a good reset
is.
to be like, okay, this
fresh
is...
slate.
Yeah, fresh slate.
Fresh slate.
All the stuff that's happened this year, I get to go spend time with my family, compartmentalize it, understand it, sit with it, talk to my family about it, and then next year, keep progressing.
Yeah.
So I would say all of mine kind of tie into each other. The trees are bare, it's darker outside. There's more alone time, and people aren't out doing things. You get to just self-reflect more.
Yeah. Okay, so for the viewer, go ahead and list 5 to 1.
5 to 1 would have to be... Leaving work and it's dark outside would have to be the least one, just because it's not necessarily a great thing. It's just a difference. It's something to pick up on and notice. And then after that, it's the bare trees.
Okay, number 4.
Seeing that things are... That cycle of things dying off is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Really, I guess it's wintertime. That's like the last stretch.
Yeah.
It's the last stretch. So then number 3 would be... What did I just say? I said...
Bare trees.
Bare trees was 4. Leaving work and it's dark outside was 5. So the ending of a cycle, prompting roadmaps.
3.
Sessions, like planning for your roadmaps.
Yeah. 3.
That was 3.
Okay. 2.
So then 2 was the sweatpants and bundling up and getting more cozy.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that gets really hot, so I'd rather deal with cold because I can just put more layers on.
Yeah.
Can't really stop sweating when you're hot.
Yeah.
And then number 1,
family
time.
Nice.
Family's the most important.
That's a good one, dude.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great number 1. I really like that.
You want to go ahead?
Sure, yeah. Let me run my starting 5.
He actually wrote it down, dude.
I did. I was like, let me just remember.
Mark it in the history books.
Alright, so my starting 5 Christmas vibes come in. Number 5, starting my car in the morning. Like, when I know that Christmas time is rolling in, you wake up, there's frost everywhere, and it's like, if you don't start your car in the morning, then you're going to be suffering that whole ride until right when you get to work when your car finally warms up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's how it is. So, going out, scraping your car, starting it, make sure it's nice and warm 20 minutes before you get in there. Christmas is here. Alright, number 4, putting on the old long johns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I work in a warehouse, so it's like it gets so cold back there. So it's like if I'm just wearing pants, that's not good enough. I got to put on my long johns, then put on my pants. I'm staying warm.
Maybe some cabin socks too.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
100%, dude. At the end of the day, they're soaking wet from how much you've sweated, but they've kept you warm all day, dude. Number 3, sweatpants and a toboggan.
Oh yeah.
It's Christmas time.
It's a vibe.
You know what I mean? Like you wear a toboggan for 8 hours and your head itches like crazy, but man,
Dude, it's kind of like taking your socks off too. Like when you take a toboggan off and just...
Oh, dude, just scratching it.
Yo, dude, that is like orgasmic.
It really is. No shit, dude. It feels so good to scratch your head after taking off a toboggan. All right, number 2, you start seeing Christmas lights, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You'll drive through downtown, they got the trees lit up.
Yeah.
You see paintings on the window of like a snowy field with deer and snowmen on it, dude.
Santa Claus with a sack.
Yeah, Santa Claus with a sack, dude. Christmas lights just do something to me. I'm like, man, it makes me feel good. I feel like I feel like a kid again. This is something that I've been familiar with my whole life, and it's cozy time. Number 1, you switch on 98.5 WTFM. It is 24-hour Christmas music, dude, and I can't be holly or jolly enough whenever the Christmas music is. I keep it on. Like, I listen to Bluetooth the rest of the year. 98.5 staying on my car until Christmas, dude.
Silver bells.
Yeah, dude, I don't care what. Yeah, dude, I love that. I love that so much. So, run it back. Number 5, starting my car in the morning. Number 4 is bundling up, wearing my long johns. Number 3, sweatpants and a toboggan. Number 2, Christmas lights. Number 1, Christmas music. 98.5.
All right, that's a good starting 5. All right, so I have a couple on here that are going to be repetitive, but obviously for good reason. So my number 5 is sweatpants.
Yeah.
Dude, when you can wear sweatpants all the time and still not be like hot or sweaty, dude, I love sweatpants.
Me too.
They're so comfortable. I got sweatpants on right now.
That's right.
I love them, dude. So my number 5 is going to be sweatpants. It really just, winter's here when I know I'm wearing sweatpants.
For sure.
My number 4, and this is something that, like, if I make it or I'm drinking it, really just, like, makes me feel like it's wintertime and, like, Christmas is getting closer, is hot chocolate.
Oof. Dude.
Hot chocolate is fire. And I only drink it, you know, in the winter, December months.
Me too.
So hot chocolate's my number 4.
A little bit of apple cider, too. Honorable mention.
Yeah. See, I drink apple cider more during, like, the fall. Yeah, like around Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, when it's starting to get cool again.
Yeah.
I drink it then, but the hot chocolate's my shit in December.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4. My number 3 is that first snow.
Oh, dude, that's a good one. That's a great one.
That first snow you get, it doesn't even have to stick.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it is snowing is just like, yeah.
That shit
hits. Yeah, it does hit.
Yeah.
Especially like now, it does hit a little bit. It also gives you a little bit of anxiety because like, shit, if this sticks, I need to make it to work somehow.
Yeah.
But back when you were a kid, it's just like, oh, dude, it's snowing.
Yeah.
Like
we might be out today.
Wake up, just like get to the TV, see if you're on the 2-hour delay, if your school got canceled.
Yes.
Like, shitty thing is, we lived in the city and went to city schools, so it's very rare. But when it happened, it was fantastic.
It was amazing.
So that's my number 3, is the first snow of the season. My number 2, it's kind of like yours, but it's a little bit more specific, is the Bristol Motor Speedway and Lights.
That's a great one.
That's a great one. That's when I know it's like, all right, we're kicking off the 'tis the season vibes. Like, you're going up there, you're seeing the Christmas lights with your friends, you're getting some hot chocolate in the inner circle, and like, you know, going out getting some food there too, and like seeing all the Christmas lights. It's just it's a vibe and it's a fun time.
100%. It's great.
And my number 1, it kind of intertwines with number 3. If it sticks, it's snowboarding season.
Oh, dude.
It's snowboarding season now.
Dude.
Beach is opened up. Like, it's time to get up there and start ripping down the slopes, even though we don't have crazy slopes, but
That's true.
still fun.
But hey, 'tis the season for season, baby.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That shit's, dude, I love
So
that.
my number 1 is snowboarding season. Snowboarding is so much fucking fun.
Yes, it is.
And now going out west does kind of spoil you a little bit.
Does.
But it's still, nothing beats going up the beach, hitting like 10 or 11, 12 runs or something, getting to the top.
Backpack full of beers.
Exactly. Yeah. And hitting some stupid jumps and getting messed up. Like, dude, it's fun. It's just a great time.
It's amazing.
And it's only like an hour and a half away, and you just can't beat it.
No, you cannot. Dude.
So my number 1 is snowboarding season. I'm gonna run it back real quick. My number 5 is sweatpants. My number 4 is hot chocolate. My number 3 is the first snow. My number 2 is the Bristol Christmas lights. My number 1 is snowboarding season.
Great. That's a great starting 5 right there.
Thank you. Winter's my favorite season.
Yeah, really?
I love
it's also
winter.
his birthday season.
Oh,
it kind of it is mine too, though.
Well, yeah. You're in winter too.
Yeah, 14 days after his. You know?
So, but like winter's my favorite season, and it kind of all ties into what you were talking about. That's why I love winter so much. Is like everything dies off.
Yeah.
And like everything is like shed, and it's starting anew, and like you have this opportunity to come back better than you were previously. Yeah. That's what I kind of look at winter is like. I think it has like beauty to it.
Yeah, it does.
Like when everything's dead, everybody would say, "Oh, it's so dreary and bleak." And it's like, no, not really. Like if you could open your eyes and see the beauty behind all this, like everything's dying off and like trying to hunker down for the winter and reset, so that way when it comes warm again, it can flourish.
Yeah.
You know, so I find the beauty in it, and I just love winter. I love cold weather.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. I'm very, I guess, warm-blooded means that you get really cold easy. So that's what I am. Yeah. But like Christian said, I can always bundle up. Yeah. I can't take my shirt off at work. Yeah, exactly. You know, like I hate sweating, but winter is just, I just love cold weather, and winter's the shit. I love
dude, for the winter when you're wearing a hoodie and sweatpants every day, you come back in spring, you've been hitting the gym over the winter.
Yeah, it's like that pump cover off.
Yeah, this is a new guy right here.
Yeah.
Tarps off for the friggin' spring, dude.
Exactly. Plus, like in the wintertime, I feel like that's when you do have so much. It's dark before you get out of the gym, and like there's not time. You just go home, you eat your dinner, and you go to bed. Yeah. But like you get that time to just like there isn't much you can do outside, so let's just get in the gym.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. So, it's great.
Yeah. But that's our starting 5 winter vibes, and that has been episode 16 of the Off the Rip podcast.
That's a wrap, dude.
That's a wrap right there. Christian, dude, we appreciate you coming on. This has been a blast. Great conversation.
Brother.
It's been fantastic. We'll
Happy to be here.
Yeah, dude. We'll get you on again, and hopefully we'll dive into a little bit more conspiracy theories next time, because I know we'll do a little educating and come back. And make sure you guys are going down below, commenting, liking, and subscribing, and we'll catch you in the next one.
That's right. We out. Peace.